Here is a video of 9 things your therapist might not be telling you. It's actually a blog post that I wrote many years ago. Of all my blog posts I've ever written, this was the single most popular one of all time. What I really did is I said things that are so obvious to me that they didn't even seem all that relevant. But come to find out, I was really wrong about that. These aren't things that are obvious to everybody. And so I just want to kind of review what those 9 things are. And maybe it'll be helpful to you. Who knows? So the first one is I love you. I used to think this was something that I shouldn't share, that there was something wrong with me for loving my clients. I was kind of embarrassed about it. I felt like, does that mean I'm unprofessional? Do I care too much? Am I going to burn out in 3 months? But obviously, I've been doing this for since 1992. So it's worked for me so far, and it's real. And there are so many different kinds of love. There's how I love my dog, how I love my husband, how I love an ice cream sundae. And then there's how I love my clients. It's a very, very special relationship, and it's real. I'm saying it out loud to the world. I absolutely love my clients. Number two, I care what happens to you. I care what happens to my clients. It doesn't just end the minute that somebody walks out the door. I am thinking about you. I am hoping that you're doing well. I am hoping that when you go into that meeting, you knock it out of the park. I do hope you're happier in your relationship and following through with the advice. So having good boundaries and being able to avoid burnout as a therapist doesn't mean that I don't care. It does mean that I'm able to separate out that it's up to my clients what happens after they leave, and I don't feel responsible for their happiness. I know that they'll call me on my cell phone if there's an emergency and they need me. So I trust that if I don't hear from them, they're living their lives, and it's not my job to protect them. But I do care, honestly. Number three, I think about you in between sessions. I'm human, right? So if I'm walking down the street and I see somebody that looks like you, or, I'm reminded of something funny that we talked about, absolutely that comes to my brain and comes up, a smile comes up. It's usually things that happen sort of before or after the therapy, in the waiting room or some of that sort of getting settled sort of phase. The therapy itself, I keep pretty compartmentalized to the therapy room. Okay. Number four is that I'm not just doing this for the money. And I say I'm not just because it is my livelihood. I'm trying to put 2 kids through college. That's not cheap. But that's not like there's many, many ways that I could have made big bucks if I had wanted to. And I chose social work as a profession. I chose to do my best to help people feel more loved and find more love. And I also absolutely want to be able to support my family while I'm doing it, but not the only reason I'm doing it. Number five is that I share your pain. I legitimately tear up sometimes in the office when I'm really attuned and somebody is really doing their work and going deep when they have those aha moments, or there's tremendous pain when couples break up after working together for many, many, many months. Of course, I'm human, and of course, I feel that pain. Doesn't mean that you're causing me pain. Doesn't mean that you're responsible for my feelings, or I need anybody to take care of me. But yeah, a little tear might just well up, and that's just who I am. I work with my true heart. I really do. Number six, it matters to me when I mess up. I know that I'm human. I know that I make mistakes. I know that I might have times where I misunderstand you, or I say things that are misattuned. And that matters to me. I take that very seriously. There might be times where I seek consultation and I make sure that I'm doing my best work, or I go back and I dig into my books and I stay informed and I make sure that I am not so overconfident that I think that I know everything and I'm the smartest person in the room. I am not the smartest person in the room. Number 7 is that I am proud of you. It's so hard to say that without it sounding condescending, like a little pat on somebody's head. I'm so proud when I see how hard people work and making psychological change, making communication changes and relationship changes that oftentimes come from deep seated patterns that are based on, how we were raised or what models we were given or what models we weren't given. So when somebody makes change or they're pushing up against those old dysfunctional voices and patterns and they're doing things differently, of course I'm proud of you. I don't know. To me, like, again, it all seems so obvious. But I like it when people remind me of things that are obvious too. And number 8 is that I know I don't have all the answers. I hope I never give the impression that I think I have all your answers. There's so many things I don't know. It's so obvious to me that I am like, just one person in the world trying to help you guys out. And oftentimes I learn more from my clients than they learn from me. That goes without saying. I think that's true for pretty much any healthy relationship, right? We learn and we grow from the other people. I was learning from my kids when they were 3 years old. It has nothing to do with knowledge or wisdom. It's just humility of like being able to say, wow, I've got more to learn and you've got a different perspective. So I know I don't have all the answers. And number 9 is that this maybe was the hardest part to put in writing and hit publish is that my personal life is a mess sometimes too. I'm not going to talk about that in session because you're paying me big bucks to like get my advice and counsel. But sometimes I am struggling with the absolute same things that you're struggling with. And I'm getting more and more comfortable, I think, sharing that self disclosure. I was trained back in the 80s where we were encouraged never to do self disclosure around, yeah, like I'm critical and I get mad at my husband too. Like, so yes, my personal life is a mess sometimes too. Probably not going to go into a lot of details about it, but rest assured it happens. I'll leave a link to the actual post. Hope you enjoyed that.